Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Girl Dadding. I am Marcel. These are my daughters, Kiani and Kanaya.
Hi.
And so, Kanaya, why don't you explain to us and to our audience what is the concept of girl dadding?
Well, we are two girls, two sisters, and a dad, our dad, that wanted to share insight and perspective on different events, topics, things that affect the father-daughter relationship, and more so specifically ours and how it's affected our outlook on the world.
Yeah, Kiani and I were talking and trying to figure out what we can do to help dads with daughters. And so shared the idea with her and obviously shared it with you. And this was something that we thought we could do together, the three of us, and it would have a positive impact on people, your friends, maybe even my friends, dads who have daughters, or daughters who have dads, things of that sort. So I'm hoping this is something we all can do together for a long time and be a blessing to people along the way. So, Kiani?
Okay, y'all, let's
So,
yeah, so let's kick it off. Poppy, tell people about yourself and your relationship with us. If that's not already clear.
well, so a little bit about me, born and raised in Chicago. I have two sisters. So, my upbringing dominated by women, and my grandmother is a very instrumental force in my upbringing, in my life. And so just being in a household full of women, married a woman, and although I wanted sons, the good Lord above decided not to give me any. So he blessed me with two fantastic young ladies. And I love them to pieces. And they've brought things out of me. You all have brought things out of me that obviously I didn't know existed. So I'm very thankful for the experience of being a father and having the two of you in my life to help me become a better person. Um, I I take so much pride and joy in having daughters. First because I don't know anything different, so I don't know what it's like to have sons. So I try to maximize my time being a girl dad. And so all that I've done in the 20 years that I've been a father has been with the idea of helping you to become the best women you can be, encouraging you, guiding you, putting barriers around you, putting boundaries around you, making sure you all are equipping yourselves to be the kind of women that other women would emulate and that young men would like to be around. Naya, why don't you share your perspective of your girl dad?
Well, I am the firstborn. So, as you can imagine, that comes with lots of different, not challenges, but adventures, I'll say. I'm the guinea pig kid, as they call it. Not that word. So, I was alone about 3.5 years. So, I don't remember not having a sister. It is lots of fun.
Now it is.
Well, yeah, now it is. When we were younger, and we didn't like the same things, it was like, oh my gosh, here she comes. But now we have a lot of fun together. You can't take us anywhere because we don't know how to act right.
It's so true.
I am a junior in college at Florida A&M. I am studying business. I'm looking to get my bachelor's and my MBA within the next 2 years. And having a sister or having a girl dad. First of all, he always jokes that he wanted sons, and we'd be like, "That's your fault. That's your fault. We didn't do that." But secondly, I would have loved to have brothers, but I don't have brothers, but I have a great dad. So I think that having a dad has been very instrumental in my outlook on life, especially in college. So much was given to us in the home and not necessarily materially. So it was a lot easier to kind of go out in the world and focus on the things I wanted to do because I really wasn't looking for much. But I miss being at home sometimes. I miss the small but big moments like birthdays. I'm only home for holidays. But having a sister is great. We hang out, we go eat, we go shopping, we call and talk about boys, clothes, music, whatever you could think of. So Yadi, tell us about being the baby of the bunch.
As she just said, I am the baby. I'm the younger of the two. I currently am heavily interested in all things theater, all things acting. If we continue to film in this room, you'll see this poster a lot. That's one of the first films I was ever a part of. Uh, Having a sister, I couldn't imagine not having a sister. Granted, I've never lived without a sister, but having a sister definitely teaches me a lot because with her being the guinea pig kid, there's a lot of things that I don't have to experience the roughness of firsthand. I kind of get just what they've learned, like, okay, we're gonna do this, and this is what we're gonna do for you. My sister and I, like two peas in a pod, we are like this now. It's I say now because like when you're younger, of course, we don't like the same things. Now that we're older and kind of have experienced some similar things, we can connect on a deeper level. Having a girl dad, man, not to brag, my dad, like, he's top tier dad. Like, I don't know, like,
Gold status for sure.
I see my friends that all the time. Like, I'm like it probably sounds so conceited and so self-centered, but like I really do think I have the best dad. Like,
Power to the dad.
so many different things that other people's dad, I don't want to say that they just don't do, but you do a lot of things, especially being a guy and not want to do a lot of girly things. You do a lot of, I don't want to say girly things, but like you do a lot of what we like and what we ask you to do, and you don't fuss or complain about it. You may throw a joke in here and there, but you're a good sport about a lot of things, and you've done a wonderful job raising Kanaya, and you're doing a great job raising me as I'm still living at home. But I have no fears or doubts in my mind that I didn't have a positive male influence growing up because I've had one amazing one. So yeah, I think that's what I can say about having a girl dad.
Yeah, well, we titled this episode Two Peas and a Poppy because when Kanaya was in the womb and after she was born, I wanted my name to be somewhat different from my father's name, my grandfather's names, other men whom I know how their children related to them. So I chose Poppy for myself. So I thought it was kind of cool and hip. It was different. I didn't like Daddy. I didn't
Daddy? Like like country daddy?
No, Daddy. Like
oh,
Daddy.
yeah, okay,
I didn't like
daddy.
I didn't like Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Dad. I thought Father was too formal. Kanaya.
I call him father. So sorry.
Yeah, just I mean, it just sounds.
But man, how much that sounds like so just like okay.
But so I wanted something that was easy for them to say, and it's kind of almost a nickname that adults could call me. And so one of the things that I wanted to be sure that I did as a father was to let my girls know I love them and that I want them to be the very best they could be in anything. And so part of that comes from my own upbringing. I didn't have my father living in the house with me. So, and I know my two sisters, that had an impact. And so I wanted to be sure I gave my children something that my sisters didn't get. And that was regular attention, regular love, regular quality time. So, they would have that image and have that relationship growing up. And so I am flattered that you all think so highly of my parenting. But listen, my parenting is only as good as you all make it to be. And so you two have been tremendous girls to know, to love, to raise. And I'm so super excited to see what you're going to do in the not so distant future, but also long term. Kanai, I can't tell you how much I love you and how proud I am of you. And I told you, when you were younger, and I'm sure I've said to you, Kiani, I think the metal or the test of a parent's mettle um, is not what happens when children are at home, but what happens when they leave home, because then we get to see how well your mother and I instilled in you the values, the principles, the decision making, the wisdom, so you all can go out and do the things you need to do without jeopardizing your well-being. And thus far, I think you two have crushed it completely. You're terrific students. You are role models in your schools, among your peer groups, and without being selfish, a parent like me could not ask for anything better. Um, Having said some of that, I do want to acknowledge my wife, your mom.
Mommy.
Obviously, you know, with us being married for more than 20 years and doing this thing together, by no means am I as effective a parent without her. And so she truly is the rock of the four of us, and she's
Yes.
the glue that keeps us together. She's the engine that makes us go. And she's just a tremendous wife. She's a terrific mom. And she makes being a father easier because A, I don't have to do it all by myself. B, I know there's always someone who is just as vested in you all's well-being as I am. And C, you all are, kind of chips off her block. And so there's a lot of similarities, a lot of symmetry among the three of you, that for someone like me, I get to observe that. I get to see how you all are growing up. I get to compare how you all are now with how she was, based on things that she shared with about her childhood experience. And so it's just been a neat 20 years of parenting for me, and looking forward to what God has in store for however many more years we have together.
So, Father, tell the people, what is it like parenting me versus parenting Kiani?
Oh wow. Well, since you are the older one, um, you don't get the benefit of parental experience. And that's the biggest thing, as Kiani said. You know, parenting her, we already have a blueprint, so to speak. We already have some experience. We have something in the tank we can draw on. Everything we do with you is going to be new. And so that's both exciting and a bit frightening at the same time. It's easier now because you're on the cusp of full-fledged adulthood. But when you were 3, 4, 6, 8, 11, into your teenage years, the only thing we could draw on, your mother and I, was our experience at those ages. So we talked to our parents, your grandparents. We got some intel from aunts and uncles, and so it's a completely different dynamic between you and your sister. But I enjoy our relationship, Kanaya, because it is obviously different and unique. You're the firstborn, so there's a part of me that always looks to see exactly how you're going to handle things, because I can't I can't really make a prediction. Whereas with Kiani, I can when I parent Kiani, I always have it back in my mind. Okay, this is how Kanaya did it, or this is how Kanaya responded, or this is what Kanaya would think, or this is what Kanaya said. So, but the challenge for me, and I think the challenge for every good parent, is making certain I don't put her in the box that you created for yourself. And so one of the big challenges always is encouraging each of you to be your individual selves. And obviously, Kanaya, it's easier for me to do that with you because you don't have anyone to whom I can compare you. Whereas with Kiani, there's always a temptation to evaluate or assess how she does things by how you did things. And so one of the things I want to be sure of in my parenting was to let Kanaya do Kanaya and be Kanaya, good, bad, or indifferent, but then also apply much the same value system, the same structure, the same set of ethics with Kiani, but allow Kiani to operate as Kiani does. And obviously, I mean, you two know, our audience doesn't know, but you two know you are diametrically opposed in personality. And so things that Kiani does, you don't do. Things that you do, Kiani doesn't do. And that's fine. I prefer that. But always making sure that I am not expecting one of you to act like the other. And so in terms of the greatest differences between parenting you, Kanaya, and you, Kiani, just making sure I allow the two of you as individuals to be who you are and not expecting you to change who you are in order to accommodate what I think you should do.
Interesting.
What do you think about my parenting of you compared to my parenting of Kiani?
I mean, obviously being the oldest, there are a lot of things that I just was like, dang, I didn't get that much leeway or leniency in certain things. But like my dad said, Kiani and I are very different people. So in a lot of situations, he had to parent us differently because we were approaching a situation in a different way. I remember Kiani was out somewhere and I was like, does she have a curfew? He's like, no, but she need one. And I'm just like, when I was her age, my curfew was this time. And now that I'm living at school and I can do what I want to do, it's so funny seeing how different her teenage years were from mine. But I think that you parent us appropriately, meaning it always fits our personalities. I think you and I are very similar. And we'll be having our mom on for an episode. And so you guys will be able to see that I am very much like my father and Kiani's very much like my mom, which is a great thing. So there's balance within the house. But I think a lot of the ways that you parent me is probably how you would advise yourself, versus with Kiani, it's very much like, okay, how would mom take this? Because they're very similar, especially emotionally. But I think that it's always appropriate. I think. What do you think, Kiani?
I agree. I mean, I like to speak to the thing about like curfew. I like people, and
I'm glad you said that.
And when I say like, when I say like I like people, meaning like Kamaya is. I'm like, when you meet my sister, like all at first glance, you might think like, oh, she's not very, I would keep my distance, but like she's a really nice and open type of person. Like she's not gonna push you away if you were to approach her, but like off rip, like you might see my sister and be like, okay, I'm gonna talk to her last. I don't want to, Whereas with me, I love people, absolutely love people. So like, whereas with Kanaya isn't you weren't the I don't tell you the type of person who at my age would have wanted to been like out with a big group of people. And
in my defense, though, it was COVID when I was her age.
True.
So we weren't able to go anywhere, but continue.
That's just like, I mean, like, I just want to tell you as a person that would want to be out with a huge group of people.
That's true.
11, 15 at night. Whereas with me, and also we've relocated from Chicago, so new city, new people. I'm having a completely different high school experience than what I had when we were living in Chicago. So like, there's just like a bunch, like it's like a kid in a candy store. I want to eat everything. I want to take a bite of this, and take a bite of that, and eat some of this, and drink some of that. It's like just experiencing different experiences with different people. Like I have a new circle. I have a completely new circle of friends. Like whereas in Chicago, I kind of hung out with the same group of people. But I'm experiencing new cultures and experiencing new, new ways of life. So I just want to do a bunch of different things. But I will say that you all have given me the space to kind of experience those things. And because I can definitely say, like, I know the boundaries that my parents have in place. Like I understand, like, they are not gonna let me be outside at 2 o'clock in the morning. There's certain places I can't go. So like that speaks to your parenting. I know the boundaries and know the things that I can and cannot push. Like y'all say 10:30, we can shake a little toward 11. We can do it. we hit that 12. I know that 12. That's it. So
Yeah, you got it. You got it. You got it.
Thank you. It's like I know, like I had an instance when we got out of school, and my friend was like, "Well, can we maybe sneak to 12:30?" I said, "No. They said 12. I think they need to go and can't cut it." And I wanted to actually be in my own bed at 12:30, so we were gonna be gone before that. Amen. But I think that you and mom's parenting has really, I feel, you all give me just like that area to kind of be myself and different from Kanaya. Because, like Kanaya said, she is very much so like you. And the way you all interact is completely different from the way we interact, me and you.
So why don't you tell how Kanaya and I are, since you keep saying we are alike. How are we?
Very mild mannered, cool tone. You all don't express too much. If you can get your point across in 3 words or less, you would do that. That's why a lot of your text responses to my text messages are okay and cool or thumbs up.
It's so true.
And my mom, I mean, if you ask us a question, I got 20 sentences for you right off rip. I could carry a conversation 100%. So, I mean, with how I feel like I've seen it, especially the past couple of years, I've seen it change in how we interact. The text messages are still the same. Like I'm that's not awful. But like we have much more. We have conversations that are so much more in depth. Like our conversation on the way to school, jumping. Like there are times like in the car, like, okay, like everybody be quiet. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. We did
right.
But at other times we have really interesting conversations. Like I feel like when you want to, you have really great, like we can yap for hours.
Hours, my God.
Like, they're telling you just don't want to talk. Me, I want to yap all day, 100%. But in that same sort of sense, like now when you have like for example, like if Kanaya does something, you can sit down with Kanaya and be like, "Hey man, that wasn't the best thing. Just do better next time." That's in the conversation. Me and you, we got to sit down. We got to dive deep. Let's go deeper on this one. We have to talk about what happened. Talk about what led to the decision. Talk about why I made the decision. Because I need constant
dialogue.
I need dialogue. Yeah, I need dialogue. I can't do no monologue and we just sitting there and that's the end of the conversation. So I feel like right now I'm yapping off a storm. Like that's just not what y'all do. Don't do that. Like, that's not y'all thing. That is 100% my thing.
But part of my parenting is recognizing you need that, whereas Kanaya doesn't need that. And so it's my responsibility to identify that and encourage it and not to shut you off. Not because if I do that, then I realize that has a long-term impact on our relationship. And so if I want to nurture the kind of relationship where my daughter feels comfortable, both of you feel comfortable coming to your father, then I have to put aside what makes me most comfortable and accept and walk into and embrace what makes both of you most comfortable.
I want to speak on that. Like, I will say, like, the way you kind of set up, especially my relationship with you, but the relationship that we have individually with Poppy is like, I would rather get in trouble with my parents than put myself in danger. Like, I feel like now we have that relationship where it's like, between life and death, I'd rather tell you something that I don't like. I'm scared to actually tell you because like we've gotten to a point now where it's like we're in an age now where we know right from right and wrong from wrong. So like if it's wrong, we know it's wrong. So we know we're gonna get in trouble for it regardless. But I'd rather be in trouble, but in the safety and the comfort of the relationship that we've built than be in trouble and in danger outside. Because I know there are far worse things that can happen to me outside the 4 walls in our home than the 4 walls inside our home. And I think that just speaks to like the volumes of the relationship we built.
Wow.
So I've said this to my friends and they think I'm crazy. I believe that 100%. I might not tell you first before I tell Kanaya, but the point is
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, like if I'm outside and like I'm stranded, hey, Naya, so like, but like, I kind of, I would ask her like how you would respond, and then I'd probably call you a mom. You might be mom first, but I still, you know,
You call your mom first?
probably.
Wow.
Only because, only, okay.
Okay, wait, disclaimer though. It depends on what the situation is.
You got my undivided attention.
If for me, well, okay, so for me, our relationship is different because I don't live in the house anymore. And so there's a level of like, I can't call you for everything because that's not how that works. Like, I'm not, hopefully, I don't, the goal is to not have to live under you all's roof permanently after at some point in my adulthood. That will not be the case for a long time or barring any financial hardships. And so you're supposed to be the backup plan. Like, I call if I need advice or if I need to understand how something works, but trying to figure out things on my own is how life goes right now. If it's something regarding a boy, like if I'm in danger, I'm absolutely calling you first.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But if it's something like,
But she said if she's stranded, she's gonna call her mother first.
Because here's the thing, like you ask too many questions in the moment. I feel like,
yeah, you need to just get up and go. Mom would just be like, okay, I'm getting in the car.
What happened to your ride? Why Yanni, it's 11:30. You didn't think about this before. I need you to ask questions while I'm in the car. Like,
You gotta get in the car.
bro. Like, mama answers you like,
duly noted.
are you okay? Like, just send me the answer, I'll come get you. And then she ask questions in the car. I don't have time to be standing on 62nd and King Drive. You talking about some, why are you there? What happened to your ride? Come get me. Like, what's like,
all right,
yeah,
I got the memo. I'm gonna come get you.
But yeah, not to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, I mean, I think that's very true. It depends on what the situation is.
Yeah.
It depends on the kind of response that I want.
Oh, yes.
Listen, I want you girls to know, not that I'm competing with your mom, but I want to be the first one you call.
For certain instances, you
are. No, for all the instances.
Well,
like that's like she said about the response.
No, I get it. I understand. I mean, you're gonna do what you want to do. I understand.
Like with school mattering, like teachers and schoolwork, calling it first, like 100%. Cause see, like mom, she loved the benefit of the doubt. Stop. The doubt don't matter. The doubt don't matter. No more doubts. Let's right here, right now. She want to be like, well, you know, it's a no. We don't know. Let's not act like we know. We don't know.
Right.
I'll call first. If I'm having a problem with a grade, and I'm like, I need motivation. I need like, okay, you got it. Call mom. Like if I just failed the test, I'm calling my mother. She's gonna call my mother. But if
I do enjoy. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, but if I have like a test, like it's not that I got an assignment that my teacher's not putting in, and it's affecting my grade, call you. Okay.
What I do enjoy for me is that I think the difference between you and mom's parenting creates a great balance.
Yeah.
I feel like I am emotionally tough like my dad. My mom takes a different approach emotionally to most things than I do. So if I need encouragement, I'll call my mother. If I need hardcore, slacking motivation, I'm calling my dad.
100%. Like,
and most times that's the one that's gonna get me off my hind parts.
Absolutely. Get my feet in some
for me to do what I need to do.
Absolutely. Mom is the type, come sit at your bedside. It's okay. Poppy is the type, pull the covers off. All right, play. Come on.
Get up.
Not working.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah. But I agree with Kanaya. The balance is definitely there. And to talk about what we talked about earlier in the episode about how, like, since you don't have sons, all you know is how to work with girls and your wife being dominated by women. Like, you know how to, you see emotion and you've seen it a lot. So you're not foreign to it. But I will say with having daughters, you're now more equipped to handle it. Because I feel like with people around you, like, your mother and your grandmother, you can't say what you want to say. You kind of just have to let them and you're like, okay. People around you, you're kind of just like, man, you tweaking, shut up. Cool. You don't say that. But I'm like, you could. With children, us specifically, you have to
Yeah.
take the emotion, help us process the emotion, help us to reach a solution while handling the emotions. Like, you now have a different form of emotion. You're kind of just, you learned, and I will say, in a way, you're becoming an expert, if not already, how to deal with it, especially with us. Because like Naya was kind of saying about how mom handles things differently. I picked that up from my mother. I'm a very emotional person. And the way I handle my emotion is a lot, I would say, a lot more outwardly expressed. And how you deal with that versus how you deal with that with Kanaya is why there are certain situations where I wouldn't talk to you first, but there are other situations I do, because now I'm getting older. I feel like there are certain things where, like, yeah, I can cry about it, but I need somebody that's gonna like talk to me like, okay, I hear you crying, but like, okay, man, like, stop crying, because you gotta like do something different.
Well, I have learned to. I wasn't good at this for the first, I would say, probably 5 or 6 years that Kanaya was here, and then probably the first 4 or 5 years, maybe more than that. But I had to learn how to let you all express your emotions without me trying to shut down those expressions. And so, because that's foreign to my own makeup. And so, um, you know, I had to learn and then put into practice, when you all would cry, and for me, it's more rational than it is quote unquote emotional. Um, but I would say, if you have something to cry about, something legitimate to cry about, then I have to give you freedom and space to do that. If you're crying because you got in trouble because of something you did, no, that don't work. That don't fly. I mean, you just now you're crying because you got caught. But if you are genuinely hurt, or you've experienced some kind of emotional trauma, you know, because I don't handle it or I don't express it with tears, doesn't mean you shouldn't. And so I've had to make sure I give you all your space where you can express your feelings about whatever you're going through in a way that's safe, because my top priority is to give you all security, and part of that security is having a safe place where you can be who you are, whether you want to laugh, whether you want to scream, whether you want to cry, even when you want to shut down and be by yourself. you should be able to you should be able to do that around your father, around your mother, in your home, because that should be your safe haven. And so I had to learn, when you were expressing that hurt, that disappointment, that anger, whatever it was, it was healthy for you to express it. It was unhealthy for you if I tried to stymie it. And so I'm also learning, particularly with Kanaya, since she's no longer under the same roof full time, I can't fix everything instantly, and so even with you now, I'm learning to take a step back and give you the space and the authority to invite me to help you, rather than for me to assume you need me to intervene. And that's difficult, because I don't like to see either one of you hurt. And so when I see you're hurting, or when I see you not at your best, my instinct is to come to your rescue. I'm learning, and I have learned, it's not always my place to presume you need me. It is my place to be available when you say you need me.
Yeah, that's very true. I think that I learned in my home with you and mom that it's okay to be emotional, but that it cannot prevent self accountability. Because I've had to take some tough L's where I'm like, did nobody do this but you? So if you maybe had started this homework 3 weeks ago, you might not be up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So even though I'm crying because I'm tired, that doesn't change, but you made the decision. So I think that you all's approach, emotionally being different, allow me to have that balance. Because when I feel a way about things, I do cry, but it don't stop the grind. And I think that that's important. Because sometimes you do want to just be like, yeah, well, I'm done with this. And that's not really how life works. And so I'm happy about that. Um, it's still foreign to me being emotional around my dad because we're the same in that we don't outwardly express a lot of emotion. I mean, my mom can tell you if I am crying in the presence of masses, I'm feeling something pretty intensely. Um, and so learning to be vulnerable around my father about certain things has definitely been an interesting journey. I'll say that for now.
Yeah.
So, Father, what is it like watching me and Kiani interact?
Um, it's humorous. It is. It's never a dull moment. Seeing the two of you at this age is a lot of fun. Um,
Yay.
I do wish, and I wish you two were closer in age. I wish you two were 2 years apart instead of what is it, the 3 and 9 months, I think it is, somewhere in there. I wish you
Yes,
all were
thank
two
you for
years
that.
apart. Because I would have liked to have seen you all as you were kind of going through similar things. I would have liked to seen you all in high school together,
Mm.
for 2 years in the same high school together. I would have liked to have seen you all, handling the same environment at the same time. So, and I think, I appreciate the kind of older sister you've been to Kiani. I appreciate how Kiani has embraced you as being her older sister. And I've seen the two of you turn a corner in your relationship with each other. And I'm gratified to see that because, you know, that's not the norm in a lot of households. And so, for me to see how you all talk to each other, how you relate to each other, how you all cheer each other on, how you two support each other, how you push each other, how you bring out the best in each other, and how you have accepted your roles as both older and younger sister. And just, as you said, Kanaya, there's balance between your mother and me in terms of our child rearing. But there's balance between the two of you, and you two are like a two-part symphony. I mean, the music you two make together, it is incredible. And I am hopeful the good Lord allows me to live another 50 years so I can see how you two are when you become adults and then middle-aged adults and then senior citizens. I mean, you know, my mom and my aunt were close. I mean, when I was your age and younger, it seemed like my aunt and my mom were constantly together. I mean, they are both nurses. They both have children. They both have two girls. So they've got a lot of similarity, and they're 2 years apart, not even two full years. And so they have the kind of relationship that when I was younger, I saw, and I said that, as I got older and could appreciate what they had, that was something I wanted for my children. And so I see you all doing that, and you two like each other. You get along. You want to be with one another, and so I think that's just it is a source of joy and beauty to see how the two of you have grown to appreciate each other's presence in your lives. Let's bring this to a close. And this has been fun. This has been a lot more fun than I anticipated it would be, and I think we're off to a great start. I can't wait until we get episode 2 going, and so we'll talk a little bit about um, expectations of one another, your expectations of me as a father, my expectations of you as daughters, and the impact that you all have on your friends, and how my friends have influenced my own parenting. And so I think that's something that we all can share with one another. And I think our audience will enjoy hearing those stories.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, we hope you had a great time listening. Come visit us again. Tune in every week for a new episode with the girls and their dad. Thank you.
Dadding. Bye.